Let's talk about Blue. In the world of mainline Pokemon, rivals have been a consistent feature from the very first games all the way to the most recent titles. They've been through a lot of changes over the years, and opinion differs when it comes to the question of whether those changes have been a good thing or a bad thing. But I like to maintain that each rival provides us with something unique that deserves to be put under a spotlight for a few minutes. So in this video series, I'll be making my way through all of the main rivals in the mainline Pokemon games, and exploring their characters, their relationships with the player, and any other fun stuff we can think of along the way. Today, we're kicking things off with the very first rival in the mainline series, Blue Oak. Blue is our rival in Pokémon Red, Blue, and Yellow, and in those games, he is designed to be the absolute antithesis of the player character. We are years away from the likes of Hop and How here. Blue is arrogant, he is dismissive, he is an outright troll at times, and his signature catchphrase, "smell you later," that we hear many times on our travels, really encapsulates that childish spite he holds towards us, and seemingly just the world in general. He does not view us as an equal in the slightest. Blue believes unwaveringly that he is destined for greatness from the very beginning. Perhaps this is a natural big-headedness, or it could have something to do with him being the grandson of the Kanto region's professor. Blue does come from a very prestigious bloodline, so perhaps there was a bit of elitism going on there too? Or perhaps it stems from a resentment of living in the shadow of his grandfather, and a feeling of having to prove a point as an individual that gave rise to his relentless, power-hungry demeanor. This is a rivalry in its purest form. Blue doesn't care about friendship or sentiment, he just wants to win. That is his one and only goal. He is a charging bull in Pokémon Red, Blue, and Yellow, and his teams in this generation really showcase that, featuring some of the most badass, fully evolved Pokémon in the game. Looks like he did make one friend along the way though, considering he has the trade evolution Alakazam on his team, so that's nice, good for him. Although it wouldn't surprise me if he'd just cornered some poor trainer in Victory Road and pressured them into a touch trade. That's probably a more likely scenario, to be fair. And he is always one step ahead of us in the Gen 1 games. On multiple occasions throughout our journey through Kanto, we'll reach a new town or a checkpoint of some kind, to see Blue standing there having already scoped out the whole place. He's leaving as we are entering. And even though he's losing his battles against us throughout the game, he's still so self-assured in what he believes to be an inevitable rise to the very top for him, which to his credit does manifest, all said and done. And it's the ultimate kick in the shins for the player as well, to see him standing there waiting for us after beating the Elite Four. He's been one step ahead throughout the whole game, getting gym badges before you, catching more Pokemon than you. And at the end of it all, you don't even get the satisfaction of beating him to the final post, that being the Kanto Championship crown. It does make defeating him in that final battle all the more satisfying though, the most satisfying moment in the entire game for me. And there's a lesson in there. Getting there first does not mean you are the strongest trainer. In fact, going too fast could cause you to miss out on valuable experience and character development that can make all the difference once you reach the big leagues. Blue's ego ends up being his biggest weakness. His obsession with being the first to everything, that do now, think later attitude, leads him to a point where he underestimates the protagonist when it truly matters. It's a humbling and humanizing moment for him as we close out of the Red, Blue, and Yellow base game. Blue makes a famous return in the post-game of the Generation 2 games, Gold, Silver, and Crystal, where he has seemingly gone through some significant growth as a character. Interestingly, he hasn't channeled his energy into trying to reclaim the Kanto champion crown. I mean, that would be kinda hard to do anyway, seeing as the current champion is hiding alone at the top of a mountain at this time. Instead, he's taken on the role of the Viridian City gym leader. In the interactions we have with him, you sense that he is a much more humble and grounded character here. He's still clearly got that swagger about him, but now he's channeling that swagger into testing players as a gym leader, rather than belittling trainers as an arrogant league champion hopeful. His ego probably took a monster of a hit in the Generation 1 era, but I think this was a nice way for his character to bounce back. I think if he went too soft, it'd feel disappointing. It wouldn't feel like the same character. and you wouldn't feel that nostalgic connection when you encounter him again in these Gen 2 games. So yeah, him still being kinda boastful while also having that baseline of interest and respect for our character, and the obvious skill it's taken for us to get as far as we have, that's the sweet spot for me. It was great to see him in this postgame. Blue has also made a couple of short cameo appearances in later mainline Pokemon games. First, he was included as a competitor we can battle in Pokemon Black 2 White 2 in the Pokemon World Tournament. The dialogue we get from him here is minimal, but the few lines we do get are consistent with his character in the Gen 2 games. He's still very assured of himself, calls himself Kanto's top level trainer, which is a very nice way of fluffing up the fact that he's at the top level but not literally at the top. And even drops his famous "smell you later" catchphrase in one instance too. I still need to properly do the World Tournament in Black 2 White 2 actually. I've only ever done 1 or 2 battles in there. It's on the list. Then Blue makes another battling contextualized appearance in the Generation 7 games, appearing in Alola's battle tree, appearing alongside Red, the protagonist from the Generation 1 games. Except this time, he's aged up a good few years. And from his dialogue here, I think he's truly started to mature now. There's no smell you laters or little jabs at your character. In fact, one of the first things Blue does here is congratulate us on becoming the champion of Alola. He actually kinda seems like he's looking out for the player and genuinely taking an interest in the new talent in the Pokemon world. Really interesting to see him aged up a bit here. And then finally, we also get an appearance from Blue in the Let's Go games too. Although this sort of goes into alternate timeline territory and, that can be seen as a little messy. But he's kind of similar in these games to how he is in the Generation 2 titles anyway. But maybe leaning a little heavier into a mentor style role. Or sometimes more like a guide who points us in the right direction from time to time as we progress through the game. There are of course more appearances in spin-off games and mobile games. He seems to have a fair chunk of dialogue in Pokemon Masters, but I really can't speak much on that because I've never played it. Maybe some of you guys in the comments can fill me in on what Blue is like in Pokemon Masters if you're a player yourself. And along with that, please do unleash all your opinions on this guy. I'd love to hear them. Blue is the OG rival. He was sort of the standard all of the rivals were stacked up against for the first 4 or 5 generations. I think nowadays we've sort of shifted what we view a Pokemon game rival to be, but I think Blue still holds up. And personally, I'd love to see a rival like this again. I feel like the closest I've felt to a rival like Blue was Bede in Pokemon Sword and Shield, but we'll be getting to him in a whole other video somewhere down the line, so look forward to that. For now, drop all your thoughts on Blue down in the comments. While you're down there, please do leave a like on this video, super helpful right now and it's totally free to do. Subscribe for more Pokemon videos. This is the first in a long list of videos covering Pokemon rivals I'm going to be doing, so hit that subscribe button to know when the next ones drop. Special thanks to our channel members, and of course join the Discord to extend the chat over there. Thanks so much for watching, take it easy, and I'll catch you all in the next one.